Our top story, Premier Doug Ford and his new cabinet are going to be sworn in on Friday, just weeks after winning a second majority government. CTV's Siobhan Morris joins us now live with a preview. Siobhan, thanks for giving us some time. Really appreciate it. Let's start here. The last cabinet was 28 portfolios in all. He's got about 20 more MPPs to choose from now. Are we looking at a bigger cabinet, perhaps?
I think there's been a lot of speculation that we will see a bigger cabinet because Doug Ford just has more people to choose from this time around. So you may see some cabinet portfolios split up to divide the labor. And really that could tell us something about where this government intends to focus their attention over the next 4 years or so. So we could see things split around. Last time around, we saw the Ministry of Mental Health and Addictions become its own portfolio outside the Ministry of Health. So look for something similar to that. We know that during the campaign, we heard Doug Ford and the PCs talk a lot about infrastructure, about building, about job creation, about highways. So those could be some areas that we see a little bit of splitting as well. And also maybe pay attention to some corners of the province that have not had representation at the cabinet table in the last government. Now,
healthcare will be a new minister, with Minister Elliott having stepped down prior to the election. Education, Minister Lecce besieged for months leading up to the election. There's whispers finance may be a new, may see new blood there too. These are three big ones, especially education. A lot of speculation we may see a change.
I think we have heard people working in education hoping that there will be a change, but from what I'm hearing from PC sources, they don't intend, at least in the next little while, to make a change there with Stephen Lecce. They've been quite happy from what they've seen from him over the last 3+ years, and that there is a willingness there to continue that. Now, there could be a surprise on Friday, but I haven't heard any speculation or any real sense that there's going to be a change with Stephen Lecce in education, especially coming into this critical time where teachers' contracts will need to be renegotiated. Right. Those talks will start in earnest towards the end of the summer, into the fall. And you'll remember Stephen Lecce was at the helm of the education portfolio the last time we were in talks, which seems in some ways a very long time ago and not that long ago.
Now you mentioned, building, jobs, infrastructure, all of these important files that the Premier was running on as part of his campaign, and labor. You mentioned that word too, got me thinking, there's a lot of union leaders out there, not just education, but across the board. They're going to be looking to cash checks from, spiritually, from some of the support that they gave during the run-up to the election.
Well, I know that the PCs have given a lot of credit to Labour Minister Monty McNaughton for helping build that support from private sector trade unions to get that support behind the PCs. So I think that's a portfolio, and in some ways you'd want to reward a minister for that kind of work, but that seems to be a place where the PCs are happy with what they've been seeing, the development, the growth in that area over the last maybe 2 years in particular. So that's another area I think where you can expect maybe not a big change with Monty McNaughton in that portfolio.
Last thing quickly, Siobhan, it was just 5 days ago, the reports were that that real, deep discussions haven't even begun to happen yet. And there's reports swirling today that some of these people may not have even been contacted yet. Can that be possible?
I think the way this works is sometimes you get a call just even like the night before about what your portfolio is going to be. Like I think there'll be people who have more history doing these things, making those calls, or being next to the Premier of the day making those calls. But I think you kind of have some sense if you're in cabinet or you're in the position to possibly be in cabinet about the way the wind is blowing. So I think maybe there aren't tons of surprises. I think if you're going to have your phone ring over the next little while, it won't come as a huge shock.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News, thank you so much for giving us time. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.